Guys, it is going down this weekend at UFC 292 as Sterling defends his belt against Sugar Sean O'Malley. And my partners at DraftKings are offering an incredible deal for all new customers who sign up using my promo code Sonnen. New customers can bet just $5 on any of this weekend's fights and receive $150 in bonus bets instantly. You can even use your bonus bets on DraftKings same fight parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. Combine multiple bets together from the same fight, including number of rounds and method of victory. Remember, DraftKings is the only place where you can bet same fight parlays. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in all the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy. So click on the link below and download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Ian Machado Garry. I'm going with Ian Garry, by the way. Ian Garry versus Neil Magny this Saturday. DraftKings odds right now, I just looked at them. What do you think they are? What do you think they are? Take 1 second. And you'll have two things that you need to answer here. Who do you think the favorite is? And by how much? Now, I was asked this very question before my producer told me the answer. And I said, I believe that they're damn near even, odds-wise. I believe that Ian Garry would be the favorite. And that is just something that a lot of odds makers within their algorithm and formula, they're always going to look to youth. Not to mention when there's a short-minute replacement, they're always going to favor the guy that knew about it and was preparing and training and peaking in these type things. So Ian Garry. I had that part right. The close Ian Garry, are you ready for this? Is almost a 4-to-1 favorite. It's like a negative 440 to a plus 340. It's almost 4-to-1. That stuns me. It really does. That is a disrespect shown to Neil Magny, but on the other side of the coin, that's a respect being shown to Ian Garry. Now, one thing about Ian that is interesting, and I do agree with, he's better than he thinks he is. Unblemished record, says all the right things, all the right sacrifices. Comes from Ireland, he's doing his training out in Florida. He's got Henry Hoof overseeing things. I mean, just everything's going right. He's better than he thinks he is. He has said that he's going to be champion. He said these types things, but when he broke into the top 15, he was so excited, he went and got a tattoo. And I remember seeing that as a fan and going, well, I hope you left some spots on your body because you're likely to move from 15 to 9 to 4. I mean, then what happens there? It's pretty interchangeable. You start to get those top 5 guys, and that's any given day. That does not just come down to who's the best. There's other factors. There's other time and who could be healed and who could be prepared. I mean, I could go on and so forth. I'm just stating for you, he's really good, and he's a little bit better than he thinks he is. Now, if you look at Magny didn't need to take this fight. Magny didn't need to take any fights. He could take a break. He could take the rest of the year off. He won a bunch of fights and a bunch of moments. He's got a bunch of money. Just sharing for you. Magny knew what he was getting into. Magny saw an opportunity. Magny jumped on it. Magny believes he's going to beat him, and that matters. That matters. And sometimes I'll make that statement, and you'll go, well, of course they think they're going to win. No, they don't. When two guys are fighting, 90+% of the time, they both know who's going to win. And it ain't always them. They know. The rest is an act, a crapshoot, a sign of courage. Let's see what will happen. But they don't always know. And every now and then you get a glimpse and you get a sign, and generally they're right. It's very few times where two guys go to fight, they both know who's going to win, and they get it wrong and the other guy wins. And I give you a great example. Nobody was more surprised Justin Gaethje captured the belt on Tony Ferguson than Justin Gaethje. He outperformed himself. It's a little bit of what I'm telling you that Gary's done. As much as he says the right stuff, he's better. He's more dominant. His setups, his length, his power, the guy's great. He's a great fighter. And even though he says, I'm telling you, he didn't know how good he was. I don't know that he shouldn't be a 4-1. But when I look at that, I think he's got one dominant way to beat Neil, which is on his feet. And Ian's great there. But I couldn't call Neil Magny a slouch. Not to mention Neil could take you down. There's nothing in that ring Neil can't do. You can make it a 5-round fight on short notice. Neil Magny will go hold up. Neil Magny, he had 7 wins in a row at one point. There was a campaign going on to get him a title fight. And it was burning hot. And I'm just sharing with you. I realized that was a couple of years ago. I realized that things change. You have a new guy that comes up, a 4-1. DraftKings has that 4-1. That just seems like really good money to me. It would seem like if you were a bettor, that's the action you take because you have to. Like I can't be in this space and pass up on that kind of chalk. It would just seem. I'm just bringing it to your attention. And I would love to hear from Magny, like as the week goes on. I do like on short notice fights, everybody gets asked the same question. It's very redundant, but the answers change. And the answer is very important. Were you prepared? What were you doing? And while everybody is going to tell you yes, broad stroke everybody, while everybody will tell you yes, there are some signs if they're telling the truth. There's some very clear signs. I mean, by example, if Neil Magny tells us, yes, I was prepared. I prepare all the time. I'm a professional. I'm ready for opportunities. If he goes out and tells us that, but he also makes weight, he's telling us the truth. Like if you're not in the gym, if you're not going through those motions, if you're not out of bed in the morning, putting your shoes on, getting that work in, if you're not doing the training, you can't then make weight on short notice. Those are really good clues and really good signs. I have complete faith that Neil Magny will make weight. Neil's a professional. Neil Magny is nasty. I mean, I'm bringing this to you for multiple reasons. Not only because Neil Magny deserves more credit than being 4-1, and if you have it right, and Gary's 4 times better than Neil. And don't forget what that represents, by the way. 4-1 is to represent absolute dominance. If you get a guy that's 2-1, you made it very clear who you think's going to win. If you get a guy to 3-1, that lends towards domination, and there's going to be a stoppage. 4-1, you're sure of it. 4-1, you're talking about there's going to be a 10-8 round, most likely. It's for sure no closer than 30-27. Like 4-1 represent. You get to 5-1, that's your way of telling the commission they never should have sanctioned the match. 4-1. You don't think Neil Magny can win a round? Have you ever seen Neil Magny in a fight where he didn't win a round? You don't think Neil Magny can be competitive? Have you ever seen Neil Magny in a fight where he wasn't competitive? I mean, DraftKings has its reasons, but I got mine too. And I did start this by saying I thought that Garry would be the favorite. I think that youth is real, and I think that the preparation, the short notice, I think those things are real. I think there's a very good reason that DraftKings works them into the algorithm. But 4-1? I can put down $5, you're going to give me $20? I just think that's interesting. I think that's a big spread. And there's a few Neils in the UFC. Perhaps they have the wrong one.